No Chubb, no Hunt. Those are your top two running backs. You're not sure you're going to have your top three tackles. Jarvis Landry is kind of iffy. Odell is banged up. What can you do on the offense, and what do you try to do, given what you're missing?
I think it's going to be just trying to get some of those short plays, some of those short explosive plays. And that's why I said Odell being key there, because, a lot of times those shallow crosses across the middle, maybe some slants for him. He loved to run those with New York. If you get him involved in a couple of those plays and, maybe gets a couple first downs, maybe gets 15 yards, all of a sudden, that opens up single coverage on Donovan Peoples-Jones, who played phenomenally last week. Between him, all of a sudden, then you can start to mix in Demetric Felton a little bit. Who they value him more as a slot type more than the running back to this point. He didn't even get a carry on Sunday as well. Again, I look at these guys, and it's trying to form some of those explosive plays early. You don't necessarily have the time to be throwing the ball deep like you'd like to. But at the same time, you have to create some of those plays in space. You have to find Odell. You need to make the defense respect him. And then at that point, it opens up the middle of the offense for, guys like Austin Hooper, guys like David Njoku, and even the run game with Dearness Johnson, who, he's a good running back, but he also prides himself on pass blocking. So, trying to form some of those short passes, some of those quick hitters, and all of a sudden you can get yourself into a rhythm. But also, too, I would also say make sure that you're utilizing some of those tight ends as blocking for support for those tackles at that point. Because that was the one thing that I was kind of wondering about between David Njoku and Hooper. Maybe keeping one of those guys, doubling up and maybe throwing a chip block on J.J. Watt coming off the edge. Get some of those guys going in the short game, maybe add a blocker or two, create some explosive plays, and I think that you can kind of get into a rhythm early on Thursday night.
Yeah, the other thing I would watch for is some screen plays, both to the tight ends and to the running backs. Nothing that takes time to develop, because Von Miller is coming around that corner.